Hey there, welcome back. What is up? This episode of the What Is Up podcast has Bubba sitting down with his good friend and co-worker, Dustin Koch, a guy who went from the life of smoking meth to smoking meat.
Good for you, brother!
And is known at the metal shop at Lifeline Emergency Vehicles as the unofficial smoked meat grill master. Here's your host, Bubba Seaman.
I'm going to tell you about our first sponsor today, probably our only sponsor, one of my no-money sponsors, AJ's Camper Rentals. Are you looking to enjoy the great outdoors with family and friends, but you don't want all the hassles of actually owning your own camper? Or maybe you're like me and you can't afford your own camper? Well, AJ's Camper Rentals has the solution you've been looking for. They've got the perfect selection of travel trailers to suit your exact needs. These campers will allow you the comfort and freedom of being in your own space and enjoy the comforts of camping tent-free. All of their campers have the comforts of home that we have all come to enjoy. You don't want to use the shower house? Use the shower and bathroom of your very own trailer. Want to get a great night's sleep? Well, enjoy the comforts and heating and cooling in your own trailer. Whether you are looking just for a weekend getaway or a week-long vacation, AJ's Camper Rentals have travel trailers that will do just that. They can accommodate any vacation dates that you're looking for during the months of April through October. At AJ's, you have the option to haul your travel trailer yourself if you've got the proper truck, or delivery services are available. And for those who may need some portable power, AJ's now has generators available for rentals as well. So start planning your new adventure today by going to their website, ajscamperrentals.com, and picking out your camper and reserving it for the dates you need. If you need more help or you got questions or you just need to reach out to my friends Randy and Amanda Gibson at AJ's Camper Rentals, and they'll be more than happy to help get you all set up. They are good people, and they're a pleasure to do business with. Just search them up on the internet. You'll find out. And be sure to tell them that you heard about their amazing selection of campers and their incredible service on the What Is Up podcast. Or you can just tell them Bubba sent you. Okay, all right, Cookie, we got all your history out of the way. We got the tough stuff. Hopefully that encouraged a lot of people. I know it encourages me, so let's get into the fun stuff. Let's do the segments. Now, these we changed up a little bit from the first couple guests, but we've got to do the getting to know you segment. Everyone wants to know about the guests and stuff, so I got a few picked out here, a couple that you liked, and then I think I threw one in there that I definitely wanted to hear the answer to. So let's do first car, worst car.
Ford Ranger, 1986.
That was the first car?
It was the first car that was bought for me in high school, and it was bought in Guttenberg, and it was a 4-speed.
Okay.
Well, I knew how to drive a stick, but never really thought I was going to be driving it home from Guttenberg. But no, it's your truck. You drive it. I think 6 months into owning it, I had to put a new clutch in it. But that was the problem. I wish I could have that truck back right now.
I hear you.
But it's a challenge. I don't know if you know the roads from Guttenberg back to here, but
they're not flat, are they?
No, it's the big hill from Guttenberg. I think I killed it like 6 times going up the hill. But
Man, for all the young people out there, learn how to drive a manual transmission. It's a lost art.
I don't think there's very many. I think you got to special order them now.
I was trying to sell mine this summer, and that's what everyone told me. Well, you went down to the right price, but it's a stick. Kids don't want to go get. Kids will go get a loan for a car, not for one they don't know how to drive.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, that's what makes them fun. So
it makes them expensive though too when they learn how to drive them.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you're putting in a new clutch, okay. Worst car. I know it's not the same one. Here we go.
2012 Chevy Traverse or a 2014 Kia Sorento.
Go ahead. This is therapy. Go ahead and let out some of the frustration.
Oh, the Traverse was a headache from day one, but we put more money into it, so we had a driver. Everything from coil cords, I think that's what they were called. Like 2 months into it, we had to do 2 of them, this and that, one thing after another thing. I can't even remember. Well, the last thing was a starter, put a starter in, then it was a flywheel, and that was done.
And that's the kind of thing, as you're putting money into it, it's like you're more and more invested in it. You got to keep it.
Yeah, and it was actually
it
paid
cost you.
off, and should have went a lot farther after we got it paid off, but I was just done.
Yeah.
So we went and got a new Kia. That went good for a year, and then it turned out we wanted to get a second car, so we traded the 17 Kia in for a brand new 2023. We've never bought a brand new vehicle.
Okay.
And bought a 2014 just for a second vehicle.
Second vehicle.
Had it for 2 months, and long story short, we've had it for over a year and only drove it probably 3,000 miles, and it's a bad motor. That they sold it to us.
Who sold it to you?
Dick with them.
Come on, Dick.
Not good things to say about them, or will we go back?
Golly. That is not good when you buy a vehicle and it's, it falls under the lemon law or something, but there's nothing you can do about it. Who was that? Whoever I was talking to, I think it was maybe on the first episode of this podcast, we got done talking about worst vehicle, and it hit me. I need to do a bumper sticker that just says, vehicles suck.
Absolutely.
Man, they are not, they depreciate and they never stop, and you're putting money into them as they depreciate, but you got to have one. It is, wow, there's no bigger headache on a husband or a dad than the vehicles. Constant. Man. Okay, we'll just leave that dog right where it's at. Okay.
Thank you.
Favorite meal from the guy who is the unofficial smoked meat grill master of the metal shop at Lifeline. The way I pose this, I changed it up for you because you actually did hard time. Is I tell people you're on death row, you get your last meal or whatever. What's it gonna be? If you could have one meal in the world, whether you cooked it or something? What would it be? What's your favorite meal?
I'm gonna go with brisket.
Brisket. Not done by me because I messed up 2 of them.
Oh, I'd like to cook my own.
Okay.
I'm not saying I mastered it, but the last 2 have been very well spoken of by other people and enjoyed by other people. I guess.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I
wouldn't say I have a favorite. I just like to cook. Amy's really good cook. She'll let the grilling or smoking to me. But
okay.
She can cook anything. Her mother's been a cook for her whole life. So.
Throw the whole meal together. So you got your brisket. What do you pick? What else that Amy would make, or what else would be your sides and dessert?
That's a tough one. Like some kind of cheesy potatoes, probably on the smoker too.
Oh yeah.
Amy can make a mean macaroni salad or potato salad, or she's big on different desserts. Butterfinger dessert, Oreo dessert.
Heck yeah. The fluff type stuff, you mean?
She's made them different ways where there's a crunch on the bottom. And
ooh.
I'm usually outside catering to my stuff. She does her own thing in the house, but we aim to please many people when we cook usually. If you live close to me, you'd know because I feed the neighbors quite a bit too.
There you go.
We feed the neighbors, I should say.
Man, that's the kind of neighbor everybody wants right there. Okay, now this one wasn't in the original outline. Did you catch this when I emailed it to you last night? This is one, it was in the first episode, and then the second guy, Scott, his wife saw that and said, don't you take that question out. You leave that in there. I want to see how he answers that. So I'm just going to leave it in. What is one thing that you love about Amy, or love or appreciate?
She's there for everything.
Thick or thin, she's there for you.
Yeah, she might not sugarcoat it, but she's there for everything. Puts the boys and me first.
Okay.
Even over top of her too many times, I would say.
Yeah.
She does way more than she needs to, but I guess that's just her. She never gives up.
Sounds like a good mom, good wife.
Well, absolutely. 100%.
Awesome. All right, let's move into the What Is Up segment. And usually this is just one topic that, usually a more serious topic that we're going to discuss. But we're going to do a warm-up topic, and it is going to be what is up with the Iowa Hawkeyes? We're both Hawk fans. Are they really any better? Or, no. I mean, we've got enough game time to sit here and analyze it now, but what do you think? What is up with the Iowa Hawkeyes?
They need a lot of improvement after last weekend. I'm just at awe. I picked them to win by 3, and they didn't even score 3.
You picked them to beat Penn State.
My personal pick was, they're going to After the Cougars won that game and knocked off number 2 in our division for high school football, Dyson said the Hawks would win against Penn State. Well, we were both wrong.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't pick one. How did you feel after? So we know what happened in the offseason. They give Brian Ferentz, the offensive coordinator, they give him the ultimatum in the contract. You got to score this many points on average, or you got to get this many wins, or you're pretty much done.
He did all right the first couple games, but
right? Wasn't the first half of the first game with our new quarterback, and they started airing it out, and we throw up some points, and it was like that first half. I'm sure you were thinking the same thing as me, like,
he's got points now.
There's a new sheriff in town. Iowa does not look like Iowa anymore. And then pretty much from halftime of that first game, even though we won the first couple or whatever, yeah, it kind of things slowed down, and then we absolutely got just beat down.
Yeah, our
last
quarterback.
Saturday night.
I think our quarterback still playing hurt.
Yeah, he's not 100%. We know that.
But our play calling is not 100%. Still, I don't know, it's been a struggle for the last couple of years. I think it's going to be a struggle again this year, but I'm still going to stick with them. But they need to make some serious changes to move forward.
Right. I agree. We'll see how the season goes, I guess. I've never heard of that being in a contract that you gotta average this many points or get this many wins or you're done. But when you're making, I mean, what we've kept an eye on that. He's somewhere around $750,000 to $900,000 a year.
Well, I'm glad they put
and they
something
took it down.
on his head.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. Shoot.
We could probably do just as good, if not better, some days.
Put us in, Coach. Kirk, we're here. We're here. I still think I can play. I know I can't, but I still think I can play. Give Cookie the headset. We'll show you what's up.
Right.
All right. Well, let's get into something serious. This is one that you picked. You've got something you want to talk about this. I have my opinions on this, and that's kind of one of the points of this podcast is to ask what is up with something important today. And that topic's going to be what is up with mental health these days. So what's your take on how it's going, or what's your experience or your take on it?
I just don't understand it. I've lived with a kid that has serious mental health issues.
Okay.
For a long time. In and out of different homes, different pills.
Okay.
It's a struggle to get the help that they actually need for real.
Yeah.
I mean, there's loophole after loophole to get this help and this help and this help. Take this pill. Then this pill don't work 2 years later. Take another pill. I don't know that is the right answer at all. I know it has helped with Michael, but I just feel for anybody that has to deal with it.
Yeah.
When we watch a kid that is struggling with his grandma dying and taking pills he shouldn't have took and cut himself and bleeding out at 2 o'clock in the morning in your kitchen, it's very hard for a parent to have to see that.
I'm sure.
That's just one. I mean, he's had multiple issues with multiple boys' homes, and there's no answer, I don't think. It's to find the happy medium in between this happening and helping him to adjust and go through life and deal with his disability.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you put this much time and effort in and out of many different homes and placements and this and that, and at 17 he says, I'm done taking these pills that we tried to perfect or get him better with. And he gave up all on his own and said, I'm not taking any more pills, and was pretty successful, had a kid. And
he did good when he stopped taking medication?
Yeah. I don't think he even takes very many pills as of right now.
Okay.
But what the help thing is a big issue. I mean, there's a Chickasaw County was a sheriff that started his own thing. I can't remember where. It's down by Waterloo. It's like a correctional facility that it's a crisis center. You can call, anybody can call. And we had to use that for Michael a couple different times just to be able to control him. They come pick him up and take him down there. And this cop did it all on helped develop this program all on his own for kids and I think there is a place for adults can go too. They want to hurt themselves or don't know if they're going to hurt somebody else, it's a crisis line. They feel like you need a timeout, they'll come and get you.
Okay.
Or check yourself in down there. It's a good program. And it's a struggle for parents and the kid that has a mental health or the person that has a mental health to figure out what is going on in their life. Me and you can sit here and talk ourselves through it and not have an issue because we don't have a mental health issue.
Yep.
The ones that have it, some days they don't even know if they can get out of bed and face other people.
Yeah, yeah. And so when we talk about this kind of stuff, I mean, it could be anxiety, depression, bipolar. It can be any number of things. Do you remember hearing about any of that when you were young?
Not one.
Yeah, me neither.
And if it was all older people like with depression or...
Sure.
I don't know where this all come from in the last 5 years, but it's...
But when I say that, I'm not saying it didn't exist.
No.
I can probably stop and think about kids I saw during school in my younger days that like, oh, maybe they were suffering from depression. That's why they were the way they were. So I'm not trying to say it didn't exist. It's just, we didn't talk about anxiety and mental health. I'd probably say maybe in the last 10 years, it's really starting to be something people understand. Oh, this is an issue. So like when you say you and me can sit here and have a conversation and deal with, whatever's coming at with a crappy car.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard on us. It sucks. It makes us, brings all kinds of feelings to us, but we understand, okay, we got to deal with this. When we can work our way through it, deal with it. Some people, like you said, they might have something come at them, or for some reason, all of a sudden they can't get out of bed, or they can't, get out of the house that day. People don't understand that. They're starting to understand it more and more now, but 10, 20 years ago, people say that makes no sense. That's all in their head. There's nothing wrong with that person. They just need to, get out of the bed, go do, when you understand mental health and you understand how sometimes the brain or a chemical imbalance, affects somebody, they physically can't do certain things because of their mental issue. And people are like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, if you've seen it, then you understand it because you can see the physical manifestation of something being wrong in their head or a chemical imbalance. And then it acts out physically with just a jacked up heart rate. And then all of a sudden they can't catch their breath. There's nothing wrong with them. Nothing, you know what I mean? But their body reacted that way. And I seen it, my family has that struggle as well. And it's nice that it's more and more out there. And like you said, this guy develops this program and to be honest, I was always a big believer in no pills, no medicine, no nothing.
Sometimes you got to have.
But you do. Yeah, you do. I was it's all counseling. It's all treatment. If it's Bible-based counseling, that's even better. And now I've come to find out, I've come full circle on the whole thing as the issues got bigger and bigger and bigger and more people started talking about them. I'm like, no, sometimes it is a chemical imbalance that if they take the time and start working through certain doses of certain medicines, I'm not saying throw whatever it was, Adderall, throw it at every single problem kid, and we're going to see if that helps their ADD. No, I'm saying there's definitely better ways to do it. But sometimes, the medicines work through certain doses and certain medications till you find what works for that specific kid or adult or whatever. And then the same thing with counseling. I was like, it's got to be Christian counseling. Well, now I'm starting to find out, no, there's counseling. I obviously recommend getting your counseling or therapy from someone with a biblical worldview. I've seen enough, read enough, and I say it on the podcast all the time. I think the Bible gives the best answers for why we are the way we are, why the world is the way it is, why things happen the way they. All the answers that we need are there.
But sometimes it takes the right person to get you to that point, or the right thing to happen to you in life to get you there. Yeah. People need to be better. And I'll admit that I'm not saying bullying. I bully people, and I'm not saying I haven't, but in today's society, you got to be more polite. Some people are having a worse day. You don't know what's going on in another person's head anymore.
Yep.
You don't want them to snap on you, but you don't want to ruin their day forever because maybe it's not mental health, but most of the time now it is more of a mental health issue that you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, sometimes it's different, and I don't want to be the guy that claims, I know everything because I read this article or I study this or whatever. But when I start looking, okay, like we said, cell phones weren't around when we were kids. And I'm not the guy who's going to say cell phones are the root of all of our problems. They're not. There's tremendous benefits, but when you actually look at, okay, let's look at the differences in generations here. What's going on? What's changing? This generation, like our kids and even a little bit older, they've grown up with this technology and this being connected their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most connected generation of kids as far as being connected to their peers, connected to information. And this is the most, depressed, mental issue. They have the highest rates of all this.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, is there a correlation there? And then when you look at, I don't know if I could have handled it being in high school right now with seeing pictures of every, you know what I mean? We've all heard the cliches or whatever. Yep, Facebook shows the very best of everything. Instagram shows the very best of everything. But you peek behind the corner. You come live at my house. You think my house had it all together because of stuff my kids were putting on social media. Come stay for a week. You know what I mean? And you'll get to meet who my kids sometimes call bipolar Bubba. Because one day I'm doing great, but then if I come home and those dishes are still there and the garbage needs taken, and I just instantly feel like my kids are lazy, well then the other side of me comes out, and it's just, no family has it all together.
That's called life.
Yeah, we're all a little screwed up is what I say. But with that being connected all the time, I think studies are showing that, that's led to a lot of, especially in girls with, they're more prone to being affected by the images of things.
Right.
I think they're the most connected, yet they're the most,
But I don't think they shut off. They don't shut it off either.
Yeah.
It's always right there, easily accessible. Nobody ever shuts anything off for a couple hours. It's,
right.
I haven't been on Facebook for a while, or
Yeah.
haven't been on Instagram or whatever you're on, I guess. I think it needs to be a pause.
I agree. I mean, I've read people's testimony about that. They call them screen Sabbaths. Sabbath day, Sunday, the day of rest, however you want to call it. But I've heard people say a screen Sabbath. And it could be for a few hours, like you said, or maybe it's a whole day on Sunday. You go to church in the morning, that phone's off, and you don't turn it on till the end of the night.
Right.
Whatever, so kids can keep their streaks going. I know that's a big deal. And they say those screen Sabbaths. We're talking tablets, phones, maybe even television. That'd be hard for me. I can admit that. But unplug for a little bit. And I had a friend sit there and tell me that 2020 was one of the best things that happened to his family. My first guest on, Ryan Peterson, he said when 2020 hit, and not that he was a fan of the lockdowns, but he said everything important to us was taken away. All of our extracurriculars, our racing that we did, and events for this kid, and all this stuff we did, all of a sudden, nope, you had none of it. You're all in the house together, and you had to figure out how to be a family again. And he said it was eye-opening for him. So shout out to Ryan Peterson for that. Yeah, I think we could all benefit from some of that without another pandemic. Let's just do it on our own. Let's shut our stuff off from time to time, and maybe that would help some of the mental health issues that we're seeing today. Because it's just rampant, and yeah, it's tough. It seems like the bullying's a bigger deal now than when we were younger, but no, it was around then. It was. We can all admit it. It was. So, man, you got any final thoughts? You got anything we didn't hit that you want to mention?
I think people just got to be good people.
Try and be better.
Always try and be better.
Try and be better. Yep. Yep. And I think the Bible backs that up. I really do. When you read Scripture, somebody asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? And he said, love the Lord your God above all else. And he said, the second greatest command is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's tough. We're such a polarized, divided society now. But that's part of why I want to do this podcast. Show people, hey, Bubba might have different opinions, or Cookie may have different opinions or views on this. It's okay. look, we're sitting down talking just fine. Maybe people that are listening disagree with us, but yet hopefully they could have find some benefit in your story or find some humor in our segments and just be encouraged. We don't have to agree on every single thing, but
sometimes you learn more by stopping and listening.
Yep, you sure do. The Bible says be slow to speak, quick to listen. Man, see, you're just setting me up and I'm knocking them out of the park. The Bible, guys, I'm telling you. Man. Well, dude, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing. I guarantee you encouraged some people today.
Thank you.
Man, it was really good. So my final thought, I always wrap up. I just come back to why I started this thing. If you catch yourself looking around and asking, what is up with this or what is up with that? For me, it's right now seeing parents take their kids to hear drag queen story hour at libraries. Or worse, they don't entertain the kids with books. They put the books down and then they dance for them. What is up with that? Like when did that become normal? Are you wondering why things are the way they are? I'm going to tell you, the answers can't be found down here. We have to look to God and His Word, at least give Him a shot to prove it to you, and He will truly show you what is up. I've been on both sides of this thing. I wasn't a Christian my entire life, but I think the Bible gives the best answers to why the world is the way it is and why we are the way we are. And it's quite simple, really. Most people will tell you that people were all just naturally good. The Bible tells you differently. We're actually naturally bad. Romans 3:23. We've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. If you're honest with yourself, you'll know you're eventually going to serve yourself. You have to fight that desire to serve yourself, to satisfy yourself. The Bible says, yep, that's called your sin nature. We're all born with it. But the good news is Romans 6:23, that even though the wages of that sin is death, being separated from God for eternity, the gift of God is eternal life through Christ Jesus. Jesus said we must be born again. So no matter what you've done in your past or what you're struggling with right now, you can accept this gift. It's just that. It's a gift. There's nothing you can do to earn it. Paul said in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 10, he said, you are saved by grace. That means something you didn't deserve. By faith. It's not of works, lest anyone should boast. It's only through Jesus and what He did for us. Jesus said in John 14:6, He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Do you want some help? Are you struggling with mental help? Do you got family issues? Jesus said, come to me. I'll help you. If you need more help or you want to know more, I'm inviting you to my church, First Baptist Church in Dunkerton, any Sunday you want to come. We live stream on Facebook if you're not in the area, but if you want to know more, you can definitely come. Or you can just leave a comment in the comment section, or you can email me. I set up an email just for this podcast, so please, somebody use it. I've got one email from an actual human being so far, so shout out to Bailey. Email me at whatisuppodcast@gmail.com, and I'll personally share the gospel with you. If you don't understand what I'm talking about or you think it's garbage, try me. Send me an email. I will show you that you can know that God is real. He loves you and wants a relationship with you. Even you. If you haven't figured it out by now, there's absolutely nothing down here on this earth that we should put our hope in. There's no person or preacher or politician or philosophy or no ideology. That utopia, no, the answers aren't down here. We gotta look up. So if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow this podcast, leave a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit that like button. Leave me a comment and then share it with everyone you know. I welcome feedback, questions, comments, even criticism, even though lately my wife's been criticizing the way I've been doing things on this podcast, and I don't like criticism. I'll take it, though, but I don't like it. She says that's false advertising when you say you want criticism. So, or like I said, send me an email at whatisuppodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. I hope it encouraged you. I hope Cookie's testimony really encouraged you. And Lord willing, I'll talk to you on the next one.